wrap your mind around.
This nice cascade is just before you reach Hasley Basin. It's pretty interesting in that it's basically over the actual natural rock. Very few boulders down there. Welcome to Hasley Basin. As you can hear, we've got a bit of a thunderstorm still. No rain right now here, but figure I'll go up somewhere above tree line and or right at tree line, pick a spot. I like seeing the stars, but if it's totally cloudy or stays this way, I don't know, I'll just camp wherever. My knees giving me fits. These guys over there actually have passed me, and they have much heavier packs than I do. I came from Trail Rider Pass, which is right over there, and traversed down the hill and kind of around and then up the valley. The guys that had passed me decided to camp pretty much in those evergreens right down there, and that really is about the only good campsite that I happened to see as we were coming up. There were a couple campsites right at the base of the trail that could be used, but once you're past those and into the woods and then out of the woods, coming up through the sort of meadow there, I didn't really see anything that was nice, at least. Now, I had hoped to be able to get water easily up here. I thought the trail would run closer to the creek, but probably the closest you get is 50 yards down the hill and having to go through the scrub stuff, so I never did. So I'm kind of running low, only about a quarter liter left. So I'm thinking, since I'm up this high already, and I don't like camping on wildflowers, that I might just go ahead and shoot for the pass and go down. Looks like I have about 3 hours of daylight left, so knowing me, it'll probably take me an hour to get up there and 2 hours to get down. It's like a storm. I haven't heard any thunder, at least from that side. Thankfully, the one over there is blowing away from me. But there's the backside of the Maroon bells, I guess. I'm not sure what all the other ones are. I haven't bothered to check the map. I like those two granite white ones over there peeking out. And this is Purity Basin, I guess. And still in the basin, not down to the switchbacks yet. I never did see the trail going across to Frigidaire Pass, and I never did see the fork going off further to the south. But I did finally come across some water. The trail crosses this little stream right here. I wouldn't call it a stream, it's just a trickle, really. Well, as you can hear, right after I got my water, almost to the minute, lightning storm was on the other side of the pass. It's kind of tapered off a little bit. It had been doing a good lightning every 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Nor could I find a flat spot with all the wildflowers, so I came down the switchbacks, which actually weren't very bad at all. Doesn't look like I'm going to have much success finding a nice campsite down there either, but I'll find, don't need much space. Alright, came down the West Maroon Trail, maybe half a mile or so, no, 3/4 at most, and got to this location, and there's a little cutoff trail here, and one doing a Y right over there, and I see at least two trails on the other side over there, and one kind of going up the hillside that way, and one going up and over that way, so I'll investigate, see what they have to offer. Now, praise God once again. The smaller left trail actually goes way off into the woods down over there. But that actually isn't a little path into that little grove of trees, but there's a perfect spot to do a campsite for at least one big tent, maybe two small tents. And the bigger trail that went off to the left actually has a nice little fire ring, complete with a stump stool and 2 stone stools. So how awesome is that? And a nice double rainbow for my troubles. I'm almost ashamed to admit this, but so far today I've existed on 500 calories. Basically 2 power bars. So I'm really looking forward to dinner, and praise God, that's one of my favorites. Ramen pot pie. And the water is boiling in the background, so I will talk with you later. I actually discovered that that little trail that leads off out over that way is the cutoff trail that I originally was going to take. So I changed my plans back to sort of my original ones. Conundrum Hot Springs is out because I'm too far behind schedule to get that, but I still plan to go over to Rustler Gulch and hopefully find a spot near the end of that, and then the following day go over the saddle south of Cassie Peak, then up past Copper Lake, then East Maroon Pass, and camp somewhere around there, and then the last day just hike the remainder down East Maroon Trail. Just as you enter the pine trees, there's a little site here that you could set up a tent, and it comes complete with its own little miniature fireplace, or almost what looks like a altar. If you're needing water for some reason, there's a nice little stream running down through a vein of shale. However, the path down that slope could be a little tricky if it was raining out. I'm now at the wilderness boundary, getting ready to join a bike trail, which I actually can see a bunch of people riding right down there, and see a hiker. I already saw some bikers just over the hill there, but I'll be taking that over to Rustler's Gulch. Now, hiking on this bike trail has been pretty easy because you'd expect the trail to be relatively smooth and well maintained. A lot of people with money riding bikes. Hadn't expected to run into stuff like that. Yeah, I'm really impressed that people can ride their bikes down in and out of that gully there. In fact, I just helped a husband help his wife climb out of that because they just walked their bikes across, but with her shoes she couldn't get up the incline there. In fact, she slipped and almost landed right on her face. Now I made it to the Rustler Gulch trailhead, Trail 599. There is kind of a catch to what the map shows. There is no true junction per se from the bike trail and this four-wheel drive track that winds up the hill. Pretty much ends up right at that point. They do come within like 30 feet of one another, but the weeds are so high that unless you're actually paying attention or there's a car parked in the lot, you're not going to see the four-wheel drive trail. So when the bike trail starts heading off downhill, switchbacking toward the valley that way, you want to break through the brush until you reach the hill so you come down into the Rustler Gulch Valley. This is pretty close to the end of the road at the Rustler's Gulch Trail. Stream V's right there. A nice waterfall right there. Apparently, the four-wheel drive road that has been the trail ends pretty much somewhere right there. Probably I'll be able to find a flat spot or two if you really wanted to camp up here. has a good water source at least. But that was my objective, that notch right there. And I think I'm chickening out. Tried my luck some, and God watched out for me on several occasions, but there comes a point where stupidity might overrule. I think you could probably go up there, and then there's actually a ridge right there, then you can kind of go up behind that and then shoot out. And I think the other route might be going up this way and over and shooting out. And it looks like you could also possibly go up right through that tiny little notch right there and go down into the Copper Lake Basin directly. But it's kind of late, so to speak, since I got started late, because I figured I wouldn't have any problem dealing with this, but I'm just not up for this with my knees the way they are and being alone, no personal locator beacon or anything like that. So I'm going to try to hightail it down the trail as fast as my knee will take me and go over into the Copper Creek trail. An hour later and I'm back out. That's a pretty good time for me, really. I mean, it's 3 miles, but 3 miles an hour going downhill. Even when I don't have a bad knee, I usually go pretty slow because I know I have bad knees. But it didn't throb up too much, thank God. And so now I hope I can ideally hitch a ride to the next trailhead. But otherwise, I think I'll be back on that bike trail because it looks like it continues on over there as well. But at least you got to see a little bit of Rustler's Gulch. I think mostly day packers, day hikers are the ones that actually go in there because it's only 3 miles in. So probably not a lot of backpackers that go and visit that. Once again, God provides. About 2 minutes after I took that video after getting out of Rustler's Gulch, the hunter who owned the only vehicle there and that I had seen actually on top of Trail Rider Path the previous noon, basically, came walking back up to his truck. So he gave me a drive down and over to this other trailhead. So then walking up this road here, and I think Judd Falls must be just over this way. But I wanted to catch a picture of the people roughing it. Got their little igloo cooler and a Weber grill and, man, a fire ring that is humongous and a big old wood pile. Now this is sure a whole lot easier than scrambling over boulders and talus and scree and trying to get up to that saddle and down the other side. I wasn't going to do that until tomorrow, but now I'm going to be pretty much where I expected to be tomorrow morning, only tonight. How awesome is that? Well, I'm almost up to the mine, but before the sun totally went down, had a good view of the valley. East Maroon Path should be somewhere right over in that area, and you can see the trail go right along there through the trees, of course, and follows all the way along, and somewhere there is Copper Path, which I'll be going over tomorrow. And then the trail actually continues over behind that ridge and loops back, and that's Triangle Pass right there. Well, I did make it up to the mine. at like 7:30, I think it was, last night. But the lighting wasn't going to be very good since it was on the other side of the mountain there, so it wasn't going to show up very well. But there's the 3 lakes, one down there and 2 right there. And at least according to the one book source I read, they have some sort of, or at least the potential of acid mine waste or something like that. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend drinking from them. That apparently is mine right there. Still looks like the shaft is open actually, and that's also where the spring is coming out. It looks like it bypasses the lake, honestly, so, but I'm assuming the spring being located so close to the mine, I wouldn't drink from that one either. And then there's some other contraption up there. Looks like may have been a railway type thing at some point, some pilings or whatever. I had the gumption or the stupidity yesterday, actually it would have been this morning, of coming over that saddle, which given the weather would not have happened. But there's that ridge right there that is kind of blocking the view, but the saddle would have been back in that basin there, and then I would have had to climb down somewhere through there. If you're a spelunker as well, you're set. Hello! And there's the end of the train line there. Now, if you were coming down the Copper Creek Trail, which I assume most of you watching this video would be, the turnoff to go up to the mine, if you so choose, is not that obvious. That's it, straight across right there. If you did happen to miss that, there is one further down, because that's what I took when I came up. They still don't have a sign for the mine per se, but there is a sign, which I guess is apparently to prevent confusion, saying Judd Falls one way and Copper Lake the other way, because this 4x4 road that this is on and the 4x4 road to the mine basically parallel one another, and at that point, it could only be 100 yards for all I know, but maybe even a quarter mile down there. They're only like 10-15 yards apart at most, so you could easily see it. If you needed water, if you took this turn off, just probably 100 yards up the trail, you're going to run into a creek that you get water from. And if you don't want that, then there's a little spring at the first switchback. I would not recommend drinking water up higher, because there's a good chance it has mine residue within it. The 4x4 track ends where the triangle path trail takes off to the right, or toward the east if you're coming down. And like most of the other major lakes here in the Maroon Belt Snowmass Wilderness, designated sites only and no campfires. And here's a view of Copper Lake. Yeah, looking at that notch from this side, that probably isn't a good idea to go over. You probably can't see it very well in the video, but that would be the notch right up there from the Rustler Gulch Basin. And there's the rest of it over there. And you can see the trail going up to East Maroon Path. This is where I'm headed. I forgot to mention earlier at the other junction that I decided, since we had several hours of rain this morning and it's actually starting to spit rain again, that I didn't want to take that triangle past the trail over there, not knowing what kind of condition that shelf trail was in. And the only real reason I was doing it was to add miles and hopefully get some cool views, but it's been pretty much generally overcast and just sort of a blah kind of day, so I just elected to go for the easier route. Plus the fact that these Ridgedale wool blend socks seem to generate water on their own. I wring them out, and half an hour later I wring them out again, and it's like, I know my feet aren't sweating like this. So. Now I'm on the other side of East Maroon Path. See the trail going down there. Nice, relatively U-shaped valley like West Maroon. Last year I actually got to the top of that and that. Obviously from the other side, because I recall when I was up there looking over the edge, and it was a long way down. But somewhere over that way, probably near that notch there, is Copper Path. Another double rainbow, though pretty darn faint on the second one. And say the Rangers have a bit of work. It's going to be fun crossing the trail right here. Maybe they're putting in for a new ski slope. Now this is the first and only place that I've found the camp. I hope these aren't some sort of like historical ruins or anything, but I don't see any signs up. I'll go down the trail just a little bit and see if I see a sign there. But I think I'm just going to park it here for the night. I'd want to get down past the, in essence I guess, the third crossing where the trail stays over on the east side. For the rest of the way, so I wouldn't have to go through water crossings again. Oh, it's nice sunrise. At this point you can either continue hiking down to the East Maroon trailhead, or you can go back up toward the Maroon Lake and the trailhead that's up there. Since I've already been up there, I see no point in going back up that way, so I'm going to just continue going down. It's actually 1.7 miles going up the Maroon Lake, 1.5 miles, and the bus that goes to Aspen Highlands will pick up anybody going down anywhere, so it doesn't really matter where you come out. And we're done. Almost exactly 7 days after I landed in Aspen. Now just hit the head over there and dump off my excess food. Well, the food that I prepared and couldn't finish, my trash. And then walk up the hill to catch the bus to Aspen Highlands.